question, which is slightly different for both of you, but it's on the same topic. Jennifer, you have a lot of ideas, whereas Jasmine, your manifesto doesn't have so many ideas, you said some now. But your emphasis seems to be more on supporting the president, listening, etc. Yours is more on new ideas and how we can improve. So, if the president has an idea that that you don't support, or alternatively, if you have an idea that you think is really good but the president doesn't support it, how would you? What would your approach be? Are you going to defer to them, or are you going to keep pushing, or how? So maybe, yeah, Jennifer.
Okay. I definitely understand my role when I apply for this. I know that I'm not the boss. I'm the wingman. Yes, I will describe myself as a wingman. So definitely I will bring up suggestions to the president. But in the end, if the president has a very good reason, I don't see the reason why I should take that and go with the president's idea. I'm sure the president has certain qualification which qualifies them to be the president instead of.
What I suggest is that we should discuss not just between president and vice president, but also between the executive committee, so that we could come up with a win-win situation where both sides won't feel that they have, well, it's not exactly a compromise, but something like that.
Okay. So leading on from that, say your president is busy or away or something, and there's a very important urgent decision that needs to be made. So how would you handle that? Maybe Jasmine, you can go first.
I will contact the president and suggest my solutions to him. And if he does not reply within the certain time that is required, then I will implement my plans.
Okay, as much as I believe that VP usually work very closely with president for decisions, when it comes to this kind of situation, which I hope it doesn't occur very often, I will talk to my exec team, and then after that I will extend it to other members, sort of get their opinion, just opinion, and then we will refer back to the exec team, and then we'll decide on behalf of the president's absence.
But what if, I mean, I'm saying here it's an urgent decision, so you won't have time to.
Oh, in that case, then I won't ask the other members. I'll just refer to my exec team.
Okay, maybe you can have some questions from the floor. I'm sure there are many.
Right. So hi. One of the main responsibilities being a vice president, as how Waiko has pointed out in his first question, is to assist the president in whatever he does. Okay? So, what if the president has an idea that you feel is completely undoable, not going to happen, and you feel that it's wrong? What are you going to do in this situation? Are you going to try to win the president's ideas over, sorry, how do I phrase this? Are you going to try to win to change the president's mindset to your mindset and the rest of the exec's mindset? Or are you trying to win the exec's mindset to that of your president? So who would you side, and how are you going to maintain and achieve the balance? Because as the VP, you are a very important middle person to ensure the harmony between the president and the rest of the team. Because if you, you get
Okay.
the point.
I just want to ask that specific point whereby you say, or should I try to persuade try to convince the president to follow my suggestion as well as the exec team? Like, is it between me and as a VP and the president, or president versus the exec team? Because if it's versus the exec team, of course you go with the majority. I'm pretty sure if everyone thinks the same in the exec team, then it's really up to the president to change his view.
I think what you're asking is if the president has an idea and you think it's a terrible idea, and the rest of the exec are undecided, are you going to encourage the rest of the exec to take up that idea nevertheless, even though you think it's a bad idea? Or are you going to tell them, I think this is a bad idea. I don't think you should support the president with this.
I think I'll be blunt. I'll be blunt. I will raise this up to the president. I'll speak the truth, saying that why I don't think it will work, and then I'll leave it up to the president to decide.
My line of thought goes along with Jennifer's, but it differs a bit in the sense that I will bring it up in the meetings that we would have with the exec members, and I will voice my opinions regarding that issue, and hopefully by then the exec members would be decided in deciding whether they will implement the president's plans or not, and perhaps we could all work towards finding a balance between the president's plans as well as the wishes of the exec members.
Any more questions? Jackie?
In both of you mentioned that focusing on non-Malaysian members, right? Two of you, yeah. But there's one thing that's very important for this is contact. Just for me, I work in CSSA, so I actually know like everyone, like Chinese, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, Hong Korean, everyone. Because when I work with them, yeah, I mean like, so, can you do it? And how
Okay,
you
first
do
of
it?
all, I'll make sure I keep very close in touch with you, and then yeah, and then definitely yes. I mean, I've been to a couple of societies event. This is something to work on, but yes, I'll definitely seek for your advice on how you be so popular in so many events and get to attend so many events, and definitely you need contact extending.
I will approach those that have connections, such as you, and through the connections, I will spread out the network and persuade those that are non.
No, actually what I meant was, if you're going to spread this event to everyone in like Durham, it's quite tough that if you have no connection to anyone else, you know. So for example, on Facebook, I know this person from this society, and then he can help to like spread it to his society and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, how are you going to like try to get more this kind of contact?
Well, through the use of social media as well as by word of mouth, in particular, where you can start from your close circle and then expand towards your classmates, and then from then on, through word of mouth, I think, which like gossip is very, very powerful and influential, that through that you could basically make it go.
Yeah, and I'm sure we all have friends, right? Just drag along, just like come with us, yeah.
Maybe Sean first.
So I mean, you guys have heard each other talk. We've seen all your manifestos. So can you just tell me one thing about, like, one reason why you think you're a better candidate than the other? So what's that one thing you want each and every one of us to remember when we are voting? Why you instead of the other candidate?
I adapt very well.
I mean, tell us and elaborate yourself.
Because I have puns in my manifesto. I'm the only one. But should I start first? Can I start first? Yeah, sure.
But, I adapt very well, as in depending on the circumstances and the situations that I find myself in, I can assure you that I am confident enough, and I will do my best to make it work, whatever things that you want me to do, because it's for the welfare of the society as well as its members.
Okay, I think one of the reason usually you vote is because hopefully that person is approachable, so that you can approach that person who is friendly, and then you can bring up your ideas. And I think I'm a very approachable person, so when you're voting, you're like, okay, say I really want to bring this suggestion, but I'm kind of shy, you know. So hey, but hey, she's very friendly, and then I'm friendly, right? I'm friendly. I'm approachable, and then you can just come to me and not feel like I'll be judgmental, and so yeah, I want to make everyone feel welcome, feel part of this Dumas society. So keep this in mind, when you're voting, that you want someone who is very approachable and you can just go up to without feeling judgmental. Thank you.
I think I have a question now. Actually, do you want to ask it?
What is the quality that you think that your opponent possesses that you don't have, or that you would want to bring into Dumas? And the same thing with you.
Can you say it again? Because I lost the first one.
So what quality, like what attributes or ideas does your opponent have that you think would be good for Dumas?
I don't know how to make it party.
That's really cute.
Okay. Oh, this is a hard question. It's like, no hard feelings, okay? Yeah, no. I would say like what I really like about her speech is she really emphasized on supporting the president's role, which I think I was lacking a little in my manifesto. And yes, I must always keep this in mind, that whenever I'm doing my role, I'm still the wingman. In the end, the president is the boss. The president is the boss. Make the final decision. And I'm sure the president's decision is for the best of the whole society.
I like her idea of narrowing down the Stockton-Durham gap, which I think presents quite a big problem, because we Durham people don't really like going to Stockton, and Stockton people feel forced to come to Durham every single time. As well as I like her what's it called, her slogan, where I genuinely
Yes, genuinely, yes.
That's really cool.
Thanks.
I think we have some questions. Okay.
Okay, so what do you think is the biggest problem of Dumas this year, or what problem are you foreseeing next year?
This year.
Problems. Human capital, as in we seem to not have a lot of members. Not to say that we should have a lot of members, but that increasing the number of members would probably solve some of the problems that we have. So we should focus more on recruiting more members to Dumas.
Okay, I want to bring this up. I feel like when we publicize our events, we must be more enthusiastic. Like in terms of the description, okay, I'll just bring Chinese New Year. Okay, Chinese New Year. I went for Sing Soc's Chinese New Year event as well as Dumas, and looking at Dumas' description on Facebook, oh, it's sad. It's quite sad. Like it just stated like the time, event starts, and then performance, charade, done. Whereas if you look at Sing Sok, like they're actually very energetic and they really want you to come. So perhaps we can put in the effort. I know this all comes down to writing, and yeah, this is something we can definitely put in more effort, and I'm sure more people will come. And so basically what I'm trying to say is try to advertise our event in a more interesting way, so that even members like me also want to go.
Can you, I don't know how many people here are aware of, for example, what Sing Sok does. So just for you, maybe you could give like one specific example of something that Sing Sok is doing in terms of advertising that you think.
Oh, they bring in a lot about food, and I think food is really one thing that unites us. Yeah, so put in more description, like people like to know time, like what we doing, then what can you get out of it. I just think that we need more effort in describing our events.
Marketing.
Yes, marketing.
Yeah.
Yes, marketing. Yes.
Any other questions? Okay, maybe we'll go with Tianxin.
This might sound like a question more for President, but yeah, why not? Under your vice presidency and your president as well, assuming that all goes well and you two are in the same direction, could you say in 3 adjectives, if possible, what would you want to see under your vice presidentship? What do you want to see changed to the club?
Must it be an adjective?
Any word you like, but as short as possible.
No, sorry, can you repeat that question?
So, what do you want to see in the year of your vice presidentship?
Your vision.
What is your vision? Yeah, basically.
Okay. As a vice president.
Yes, because that's what you're running.
That's not. Okay, so now I'm like stuck between, should I talk about vision or the tree?
So if there's one thing that you want to achieve by the end of the year, if you can only achieve one thing, what is that one thing?
Introduce more food in our events.
Improving Dumas experience.
Could you be a little bit more specific?
Well, you said 3 words.
Because it's like everything is experience.
I know.
Right?
Dumas experience is probably an umbrella term which encompasses everything. So I guess in this sense that I would love to improve in most, if not all, sections of what Dumas can offer.
Oh, I feel like people in Stockton are not really getting much of the Durham experience. Like, so probably.
That is so true.
Right. We should really bring in that.
Okay. I think we have one more question from the floor and then one more question from the clerk. So, I think Nat, you had a question, right?
Right, okay, because I think everyone's sort of like just asking what you want to contribute, but I think what's important as well is, what are like one of your, like, okay, for both of you, what is one of your quirks, or like one of the things that you really prefer not to do, or like you don't like doing, or like something about yourself that you feel is a weakness, and like how do you think like perhaps I don't know, that help you work together with the president, or like, okay, basically just one of your weaknesses.
That might work against the president.
Yeah, that might work against you as the vice president actually. A weakness, yeah.
Oh, you have one? You can go first.
I think my weakness would be that I do not like being the front man, as in the first person who would have to bear down everything and be blamed upon, which I think would be the role of president.
For me, I feel like it's perfectionism, and I think this not only affects me and the president, but also exec team, which is something I'm still working on. So, for example, if the president only wants this thing to be done as soon as possible, but I feel like more things can be done. I want it bigger, I want it better, like include more things. Then this is something I'll need to tone down a bit.
Can't exactly have any questions? No, I have a question. Okay. I think both of you mentioned attracting more non-Malaysians to UMass. I think maybe you might know from the Freshers Fair, me and Franco and Hafi, we just simply asked anyone